Alrighty, Brotherman Bills, welcome to a video where I am going to be doing, in the background, some easy clue scrolls. And nothing in this video will be a spoiler to my collection log series as a heads up. The reason why is because I'm not going to open any caskets. You can see I'm stacking them, so therefore there'll be no collection log slots, no nothing. All I'm spoiling in this video is that I am working on easy clues, and obviously a video will come, but I'm pretty sure the video will be titled something to do with the easy clues anyway, so it's all good. Right, anyways, jumping in. My bank has actually genuinely changed in the last 2 seconds, so let me fix that. Okay, so first of all, let me answer some questions. Am I using a plugin when I open my implings? Yes. What happens is as soon as I pull a clue scroll, the plugin I'm actually using right now will remove all of my impling jars from the inventory, or they will just make them invisible, as so. You see that? So therefore, I don't open the extra 5. The plugin is called Impling Helper. Or Impling Saver, sorry, something like that. I don't use plugins often, so I need to obviously address that immediately just to so people know. But it's something called like Impling Saver or something, and it's just a gigantic time save when it comes down to the easy clue scrolls. And I don't really know if it's game breaking. All it's just doing is saving me a fair bit of time, which allows me to make a video a bit quicker, which is all good. You know, I'm not killing a boss much easier or a player or whatever, but whatnot, but we'll see. That being said, when I get to last man standing, I'm actually going to probably start using plugins because I won't be able to beat anyone that's using plugins. All right, let's get in. Ladies and gentlemen, the new skills have been announced. The new skills are Sailing, Shamaneering. I've genuinely forgotten the name of the skill, bro. Shamaneering, it's shamanization. I don't know, it's not that one, but I've forgotten the name. The shaman one, all right, good skill. And also taming. So this video is my opinions on them now. So the first thing I need to say, and this is a huge disclaimer, which is very, very important, is if you've opened this blog from Jagex, and you're a fan, let's say, of sailing, from when I made my concept video of how, I think the video is titled like Old School's New Skill Needs to Be a Masterpiece. Now, the reason I made that video is, bottom line, that I had to explain to people before the new skill was coming in that the new skill has to be a masterpiece. Now, the video might not be worded that well if you go back to it to what I'm about to say next. Oh, shit. What I'm about to say next. But I wasn't in that video basically saying that sailing has to be the new skill. I brought up the concept of sailing as a concept that, in my opinion, of what I created as a hypothetical concept, would be a masterpiece of a skill if created correctly. Now, obviously, we don't know how this skill is going to actually be created. So, this video is me talking about the 3 pitches of skills so far, and I'm trying to once again go in with a very, very unbiased opinion on absolutely everything. And I think right now is extremely important for content creators in general, not to kind of push people towards a certain skill, but more to try and explain what the skills will do on a bigger scale to the entire game. So people can take that information, digest it, and kind of choose for themselves. My worry when I opened that blog, I did not expect Jagex to pitch sailing. My worry when they opened the blog was that sailing was pitched. And a lot of people may have watched my video. That video got a lot of views, considering it took me whatever the length of the video was to make, because I simply was just talking. My worry was that people would see this blog, see sailing, and be like, oh, sailing, that's the skill that that guy spoke about, blah, blah, blah. I'm just going to vote for that, and everything else just goes out of the window. That is very dangerous for the game. What you need to do is go back and read the blog again in detail, watch videos from content creators, and listen to everything they say about every skill, digest the information, take your own traits and think about it, and try and truly work out what skill you think you like out of the 3. So for me, I'm going to just keep things short with this one. First of all, taming. Simply put, a lot of my opinions in this video are going to be very myopic, 2D, two-dimensional, extremely just not in detail replies to the skills. But I can't go into much more detail until there is more information given on the skills. Now, taming in general, I wish there was more information. They do need to give more to that skill. It just seems very, not bland, but just flat. When I read that one, like, it didn't really pop at me. You know, nothing really popped. And I'll come back to both sailing and shaman. I'm just going to call it shamanization for now. I physically, I don't write scripts for my videos. I physically don't have a clue what the skill is called off the top of my head. I'm hoping it comes back to me. It's like shamanization or something like that. But we'll start with Taming. And yeah, Taming, I just wasn't a huge fan. Now, again, I don't want to put into the idea in your heads that you're like, oh, okay, you know, he's not a huge fan of the skill. Maybe it's trash, you know, something like that. It doesn't matter what I want. Whatever of the 3 skills come out, or whatever skill it ends up being, depending how long on this skill, like, debate goes on, I'm going to train it to 99. That's a fact. I'm most probably going to enjoy it. And the reason why is because I have absolutely no doubt in my mind that Jagex will fumble this skill. There will be glitches when it comes out. There will be potentially some rollbacks. There'll be some server downtime. But there is no way they will make a skill that's garbage. And if you really think they won't, think of every skill you've ever trained in this game. Which ones did you genuinely fully enjoy training because they were fun? You know? Now, I think about that. For me, I enjoyed training runecrafting with lava runes. Was it fun? I don't know. I enjoyed opening the bank and trying to bank as quick as possible. I enjoyed trying to craft all the runes as quick as possible, you know? With construction, I enjoyed trying to stack all the game ticks together. With Slayer, I enjoy Slayer, unless I have a garbage Slayer task. But how many skills in RuneScape are actually fully fun and enjoyable to train? That's the difficult question. I can enjoy almost any skill in this game, except for fishing. Fishing sucks. And also fletching darts, that's painful on the wrist. But fun? As of this moment, I have a max cape on the game. I've played RuneScape for almost 20 years. I do not know if I have fun training skills. I enjoy them to an extent, but I don't know if I have fun. That's the question I simply cannot work out if I can give you that answer. Even if I'm training Slayer, which is one of my favorite skills, and I pull one of my favorite tasks, am I having fun? I might be if I get like a good drop or something, but I don't know. I can't answer that. So in my opinion, the skill that comes out with this one is going to be a fun skill to train. And I'm pretty excited. And I'm hoping I don't drill that into people's heads and everyone's like, oh, this skill's going to be so fun. And it turns out to be not dead, but just sort of like similar to the skills. You enjoy them, but it's not fun. You know, it's very hard to place the correct information on that. But with Taming, I'm not going to go into much detail. And the reason why is I don't really think it's that fleshed out. And I do need to see a bit more information on Taming. And the reason why I'm not going into too much detail is because I don't want to make this video so long. I could talk for hours on these skills and go back and forth forever. But I don't really want to do that. I kill imps because if I pull a champion scroll, it's a 1 in 5,000 drop, and I lose very little time whacking that imp right there, so that's why I do it. So let me jump into the next skill, which is Sailing. Sailing, I'm also not going to spend much time on because Shamanization Establishmentarianism is the one I want to talk about, okay? Now, Sailing was very similar to the concept that I personally spoke about. Now, did Jagex take any information from me or any traits from me or anything? I wouldn't say just me. There's a lot of people that spoke about Sailing. But the concept of Sailing, again, with a very myopic and two-dimensional reply on this video, until they bring more information, is Sailing, again, it does stand as an extremely strong idea, in my opinion. A lot of people might think so, but Sailing has borderline infinite potential in the game. You can expand on it so much. You can add underwater, you can add shipwrecks, you can add random events where your ship goes to some random island where the random event is the island. I can just go on forever, but I'm not going to that much because I don't want to drag out the video too much. But Sailing and the concept that Jagex gave, not what I'm going to tell you. I'm going to try not to give my full opinions in a way where you're just agreeing with me. I want people to... I think the important thing that needs to happen now is people need to go and read the skills and kind of go with what they think themselves. Because if content creators are just blasting everyone's ears with, oh, Sailing's amazing, Sailing's amazing, Sailing's amazing, Taming is amazing, blah, 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 people are going to get a very biased opinion from potentially their favorite creator. And that's the last thing I want to do, particularly when I made a video on Sailing already. But that Sailing concept, I didn't think they were ever going to pitch it. I just gave the idea of the fact that I think if they took that Sailing concept I said, copy and pasted and put in the game, it would be a masterpiece of a skill. Hypothetically, if they can create that. Can they create that? I don't know. Nobody knows. Now, when it comes to the skill, I think the skill is going to be brilliant anyway, so I'm very excited for it. But Sailing, the concept they brought up, I think the best way to see it is it comes off as one where the main thing I want to say is I don't really know if Sailing would be a good skill to train in an MMO. Now, you might think RuneScape's not much of an MMO because everyone plays Iron Man, everyone plays alone, no XP waste, no one talks to each other. If you're sailing and you're sailing your own boat in your own instance, then the whole skill is completely isolated from the game. Like, that's it. I don't know if you'll be able to build a boat with 20 people and everyone's training at the same time, but as soon as the efficiency meta comes out, we all know that's what's happening. No XP waste will exist as soon as the new skill comes out. It just won't be solved until people get 99. Once people get 99 and start rolling for 200 mil experience in the biggest race ever to 4.8 billion, permanent rank 1 on the legacy high scores or non-legacy, whatever it's going to be. I don't know if the, for those that don't know, basically the current high scores and the people that have done the 4.6 billion, 200 million experience in every single current skill in the game, their high scores will live forever. They will permanently be solidified with those ranks. I think that is an absolutely fantastic thing that Jagex have done. I love that one. The fact they're adding another high scores, and I believe the current high scores will be the legacy high scores, and the new ones will be the officials. I love it. It's a super respectful sign. Obviously, if you look back at the game, imagine we had high scores in RuneScape 3. I know it's called RuneScape, but just RuneScape 3 for this video, where you could see the high scores the day before new skills released, all the way back to when runecrafting potentially released, which I believe, yeah, runecrafting was the first skill in RS3. That would be really cool, I think. That would be really cool. But in old school, they're respecting the 200 mils that are basically going through, and I really, really like that one, so it's good. Right, I just completely forgot what I was saying. So sailing comes off as I don't know how it's going to be trained. But if it can be trained in a way where people can interact with each other, similar to things like Guardians of the Rift. Guardians of the Rift came out at a horrible time in my life, because I was going through the skin condition. And just being able to train and talk to so many people in-game at the time was just a blessing for me, so I loved it. I think sailing currently with the concept might be very isolated, and that's my only worry. As for the concept of sailing, it doesn't matter what they pitch. Sailing just has an infinite level of potential. You can do anything with that. You can open up oceans. You can open up the under the oceans. You can open up even more under the oceans. You can put anything under the ocean, you know? You can open up so much content. Like, you could even whack on a Trouble Brewing outfit. Might give you a 3% XP boost, you know? And then Trouble Brewing is now a popular minigame. And everyone's doing it, you know? It's like, there's a lot that can happen with it. But my main worry is the fact that I think training that as a skill would be isolated. A good way to, like, explain how some skills were when they were being trained is if you ever played Twisted League. The very first league, everybody was training skills like fishing at the one spot in Karend. And it was great because you just chat to each other the whole time. Social skilling, I like social skilling. I think sailing would not be social skilling with the current pitch. Now, again, we don't know. There's more to come. We will have to see. As for the rewards, the benefits, the perks from sailing, the potential, I still think it's absolutely fantastic. Now, going into Shamanization 3000, this skill is the one that interests me the most. And I can't really go into much detail on it because it is a very complex potential skill. And the thing with this, again, to try and keep it as short as possible with my opinions, is I think that this one personally is the best. If I had to rate the best, I eventually went through it and decided that Taming I want to put as a 0. It's the concept that I think is inferior to the other two concepts. So for this video, we're going to say that I have 0% interest in Taming. That's obviously not true. If it comes out, I will train it and I will probably enjoy it. But for this video, I want to try and make it a bit between shamanization, shamaning. I'm going to pause the video. I need to find out what it's... Shamanism! Shamanism, how I must have said it at least one time this video. So shamanism, basically, this skill is the one that can be amazing, but it can also be very dangerous. The concept, brilliant. But you know, when Jagex decided to add, and this video is not going to be bringing Jagex down in any way, shape, or form, but it's the only example I want to give. When Jagex decided to add the twisted bow to the game, that apparently was a completely fine non-power creep 70 or 75 range weapon. Shamanism has the potential to change the entire game. Everything can change with this skill. It is one that, if it comes to the game, will be absolutely phenomenally good for the complete future of the game. Or it can be one that potentially breaks the game. Now, it will break the game, but will it ruin the game is the different question. I don't think it will. I don't think it'll ruin the game, but it will change a lot. The concept of also training this one as well also feels like it could be something like a summoning vibe, you know, collecting charms, gathering, but you'll be in the world of Galena again, and you will actually be able to potentially interact with characters, see them around, you know, make the MMO look busy. I think that's one thing Jagex have done fantastic in old school in the past, let's say, half decade. They have brought players together in certain areas. You might be one of those people that's in World 9 at Winter Toad, and you have your private office something, but things like Guardians of the Rift were incredible. The smithing minigame, I have forgotten the name off the top of my head, but that one, it was good, but it wasn't quite a Guardians of the Rift one. That was fantastic. But Shamanism is currently the skill that I think has the potential to enter the game quite nice. It really has that good vibe of just being a good skill from day one instantly. It has that potential where people can kind of interact with each other, but it also has the potential, and it also, I might be right, it might be, honestly, Shamanism, it came off as it might be one of the more boring skills to train, you know, it kind of feels like it's a grind for a good reward that makes the rest of the game good. I don't know if that's a good thing, but I think that's kind of a good thing, you know, like a lot of people will say they don't enjoy training 99 agility, but 99 agility is an amazing skill to have in the game. It's very difficult to like put everything together when it comes down to these ones. But that skill, I think, yeah, that's what I think. You can train it with other people potentially. You can train it potentially passively. You're playing in the world of Galinor. I don't know how sailing will be, but sailing really does come off as the fact that it will be kind of an isolated skill. And taming, I've really not put much thought into it at all. I just didn't really think it was that good compared to the other two. The other two just seem more potential. I'm quite confident the other two will go through. Again, please do not let what I say drill into your heads. I'm trying not to go into extreme detail, because I do think we'll get more information, and I can definitely remake this video with more information of how the whole game might change, with examples where you might be able to relate to those examples, again, hypothetically. But Shamanism, in my opinion, at this current point in time, comes off as one that would fit quite nicely into the game immediately, but the rewards from Shamaning could completely dismantle the game, the meta, everything we know. And RuneScape is a very meta-based driven game. That's a very important thing that people need to remember. If there is a meta to do something, that is what you're going to go and learn, because it's inefficient to do something else. My rule of RuneScape, I have played this game for almost 20 years, like I said before. You should do what absolutely ever the way you want to play. You know, I'm someone that doesn't really play with plugins because I like to kind of, I don't like the idea of, like, let's say there was an update and I log in and I'm doing a boss and now my plugins are turned off and I don't know how to do the boss anymore. I don't like that. For a game I've played for 20 years, if I don't know how to do a boss because something isn't on my screen, I can't. It's not something I enjoy. I need to be able to know how to play the game. Right now in this video, I'm using a load of plugins, like a load of them, but that's because I just think it's a bit more enjoyable with the plugins. So I will turn them on whenever the hell I want to. It's just most of the time I don't. Don't let anyone choose how you play the game. And that's just one thing that will come down by default, though, when the new skills happen, is there will be an efficiency-driven meta for any of these skills that come out with the rewards. And if something comes out, example here is Shamanism, where everything you do is weaker unless you train that skill, it's almost mandatory to train that skill at that point. And although that's probably a good thing, I think that's a good thing for a game potentially, it might be a bit overwhelming on the immediate release of the actual skill. So we'll have to wait and see. But that's the bottom line rules. A TLDR, I'll whack in the top of the description, a TLDR. Taming, I'm not a huge fan of it. Sailing, I think, has infinite potential, but might be a very isolated training method, which deletes from the MMO concept. But you can do a lot with sailing. It would be fantastic. And Shamanism, I think, would be one more where I think it's a better, it seems like a better skill to be added right now. And I think the rewards could completely change the entirety of the future of the actual game, which could be quite interesting, but we'll just have to see. You know, power creep is something that we've been trying to keep away from in old school. That being said, one question, yes or no answer, is power creep in the game since the release? The answer is obviously yes. You know, we have power creep, and I don't think it's scaled that well. A twisted bow should be 99 range requirement. Straight up should just be 99 range requirement end game. So we'll have to see. But Shamanism is the one that can completely change everything in the game. Is that a good thing? It's hard to say. EOC might have been a good thing from the point of view of a lot of players. It really was not. Now, I'm not going to compare a new skill to the evolution of combat that happened, but once the new skill's here, it will hit a beta stage. It will never see the live game unless the players think it's fine. And I don't think anything game-breaking will come in by default for any of the 3 skills that will pass a beta stage. I really cannot see that. So it should be okay. But Other than that, that's my initial opinion. The video's a little under 20 minutes. I know I don't go into true detail of like how the skill's trained or anything, but that is what I want you guys to do. I think if you have to read the dev blog, you have to understand it yourself rather than listen to a third-party creator, because otherwise you will have a lot of bias potentially drilled into your head, and I think it definitely needs to be something that you understand yourself and can take some traits from another creator. That's my bottom line, though. If you skip to the TLDR, you're a smart individual. Well played. Thank you for watching, guys. I'll see you all later, and I'll probably have another video about the new skills when a bit more information pops up. So have a good one.